You're listening to the Heated Bros podcast with your hosts, Casey Reeves and Joseph Ramos.
What the fuck is that?
It's little animals for your food.
What they do?
Decorations.
Just a decoration?
Yeah, they're like little whatchamacallit, toothpick thingies.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a decoration. I was like, dude, no.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Got the list. Okay. Welcome to the Heated Bros podcast. I'm your host, Casey, followed by
Joe.
And Alex.
on this somewhat cold Colorado day.
It's actually really nice. It's not really cool.
It's all over the place.
I'm scared because it's either supposed to snow a little bit or it's supposed to dump on us.
Yeah.
Snow a little bit or a lot of it.
And we have an outdoor shoot planned for Sunday.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, yeah. But I thought you wanted a little bit of snow for the shoot.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't just like Arctic vortex, like 100-mile-an-hour winds and
Fucking bomb cyclone all over again.
yeah, I'm hoping it does not do that because we'll be fucked. But if it's a little bit of snow, it'll be nice because it'll be floating in the...
Get to pull a Home Alone. Mm-hmm. Well,
What
this...
does that mean? Pulling a Home Alone.
Oh, have
I
you
just
not
agreed
watched...
to it.
Have you not watched, what is it called? The Movies That Made Us on Netflix?
Not yet, no.
You should watch it. There's a Home Alone one where they're like in New York and they're like, well, we need snow for this scene really bad. And they're like begging for like the correct, like kind of what you're asking for. And they were just like, they're filming everything with like tricks for snow, like dried ice, whatever they could. They were pretty much just pulling it off. Oh, Trip took my mic. And they they were like, oh, we're gonna wrap shooting for a couple days or whatever, and New York had like the perfect snowstorm. So then it was like everything they needed, the like snow came down perfectly, and they're like, fuck the day off. They're like, go get this scene, and they had to run to the house that agreed they could film the outside, and then the rest was filmed inside a school gymnasium, which was pretty cool. So like all those, like the house, it's a fake house they built inside of a school gym. It wasn't a real house at all.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're hoping for nice, fluffy, light snow.
Yeah.
Fluff. Lots of fluff.
Mm-hmm. Well, Christmas. Like, making sure he's not going to, like, rip my headphones off again.
He's camping.
I know.
Yeah.
Hardcore Call of Duty. Well, the Game Awards happened last night. Did you guys watch it?
Nope.
Nah, I watched it at work. I had nothing better to do.
So, what took top honors?
So the game of the year was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, that's
that
the one
would-
we didn't like.
It's
For the
it's just that when the trophy says only 10% of people beat it, I feel like that's a really low number. And because it like ramps up the difficulty the further you go. Like I got to a point where it's like I have to backtrack and fight these mini bosses to find stuff I need to beat the final boss. And I'm dying a lot because because when you rest at a temple, a statue, sorry. And all the enemies come back, everyone's fully healed. So it's like you can go, oh, okay, he's up the street, and then you heal, all those people come back that you killed. So you kind of have to go, okay, can I sneak past them all? Do I try to bum rush this again? Like the game is it'll punish you for certain things, and for how difficult it is at times, I was amazed that one, because I could see a lot of people just being like, F this game, I'm
This
done.
isn't fun.
Yeah, this isn't fun. Because to me, I enjoy a good challenge. Normally, I'll take breaks from games like that. Like, I'm okay with a good challenge, but that's a game where I'm like, I'll be back in like 2 months. I need a break. Like, I'm getting angry. I need to take a step back, come back when it's enjoyable.
yeah,
So
I don't like games that make me rage quit
Yeah.
every time I turn them on.
Yeah, and that game,
Like Super Smash Bros.
Switch, Joe, I broke the Switch. Could I have another?
Super Mario Kart 8. Mario Party.
Drunk Mario Party. I still have not recovered from that, Joe. I have nightmares. Me and Joe played Drunk Mario Party, and it was like 30 shots in later. I was like puking and shit.
Yeah, fun times.
Fun times. Best community support, which I thought was weird that it won, was Destiny 2. I thought for sure Rainbow Six Siege would get that.
Community support is like the people's choice.
It's they're always updating the game, making sure its longevity is enjoyed. That's how I see it.
Destiny is like an online game mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's been a lot of problems with it. People are like, oh, this is monetizing this. You're doing this. Like, just a lot of schemy stuff from Activision.
Has it gotten better?
Now, because Bungie just owns it, it's straight a Bungie game. So they really, from what I've heard, they've like won through and started overhauling. But I felt like Rainbow Six Siege deserved it because it started off as an okay game. And then everyone was like, well, there's these problems. There's this and this. And they're like, okay. Give us 2 months. And they were like, okay. And the community came back, really pushed the game in 2 months, and they brought in new maps for free. They fixed all the problems. They balanced all the guns. They did everything within like 2 months, which I find pretty impressive for a game like that's online.
So I have a theory. Destiny 2, you said?
Yeah.
Destiny already had a huge enough following that people were willing to work through some of the difficult times.
Yeah.
And their community actually stayed with them. Whereas Rainbow Six probably doesn't have as big of a following.
I think they're about even. I think it just depends because Destiny's paid content while Rainbow Six is all free. You just have to buy, like, if you want a certain weapon, that's the only thing you have to buy. But most of the time, people are like, yeah, I like what I've built. Because you build your class set like Call of Duty. And a lot of people enjoy that more. Like, when I played it, I really enjoyed, like, being a shotgunner. So I'd be, like, behind walls, and I'd see an enemy, like, trying to come in. I'd be like, and through the wall. And I'd just blow them off. And it was, like, not a powerful shotgun. But because I sat and waited for like these guys to take corners, I could just blow them
You
off.
camping asshole.
That whole game is based on camping when you're the hero. Or no, you're the terrorist. Because they're like, stop the operatives from getting in the house. Or they can like disarm a bomb. So all you can do is you're just in like a house this big.
Yeah,
like this
you're
room.
defending a room.
Yeah. And you're just kind of like, well, let me put this makeshift wall up and fuck someone up and they come around the corner. But it's reversed. I've seen people like know it's a makeshift wall and they'll just like start unloading and it's just like, and I'm like, well, I died. I'm like, I'm fucked. There's nothing I can do. It's fun. I thought I'd do one that kind of shocked me. It was best music score. That was Death Stranding, which I haven't played, so I feel like I can't judge. But I really thought Devil May Cry 5 or Kingdom Hearts would really take that because they had some pretty famous bands work on their music.
Yeah, but it was reworks of previous music.
I think Kingdom Hearts, Devil May Cry, they pay bands to make new songs for every character.
Okay.
And they're pretty well-known bands. Like, the one that did Dante's is the brother of Rob Zombie. I can't think of his band's name, but...
Bob's Zombie?
Bob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, I don't know. Best fighting game, that was pretty easy. It was Smash Bros.
It's got them all.
Got
Yeah.
all those characters in it.
Let's see. I thought I'd let you know that best art direction was Control.
Woo!
I know you were cheering for that.
I was.
Best action game was Devil May Cry 5, which I was pretty happy with.
That
And
was a button smasher.
but Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
No, it's very
No, this is a bit like when you're like fighting.
I mean you can button mash, but there's like special combos you can do like
Yeah, that's what button mashing is.
no, button mashing is not doing things correctly.
Button mashing is uppercut, uppercut, uppercut,
Yeah.
uppercut, uppercut.
Or the Call of Duty or no, Mortal Kombat where you're like ha ha ha. But I thought that game deserved it. I really enjoyed it and they really put in a lot of cool combos like like you could hit an enemy up, and if you're Nero, he has a rocket arm, and you can shoot it, jump on the rocket arm, and guide it to hit the enemy while he's in the air, and then while he's like falling down, you can shoot guns, and it's pretty skilled. There's some people doing some really cool stuff, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, there's no way I can do that. Like, one guy never let an enemy touch the ground, and he just kept going, and when they touch the ground, they die, and his score was like super sexy stylish or something. It said some crazy long name, and I was like, fuck, let the enemy die. It was a weak league. I'm like, let it die, man. Best family game, which really wasn't hard. It was all Nintendo games, and it was Luigi's Mansion 3, which I thought was weird. I thought it would be Yoshi's Crafted World.
Taking home that W.
Best sports and racing game was Crash Team Racing. And let's see, what else? Beat Saber won Best VR game.
Of course.
It's the only VR game.
I mean, No Man's Sky was on there. Let's see, Best Performance was Mads Mikkelsen as Cliff in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Player's voice, they liked Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yep.
Best indie game was Disco Elysium, which I've been interested in playing that game, but I feel like it's going to make me angry, so I don't get it yet, because you have to go based on the song that plays, and I've seen people like do some really cool stuff, like trying to complete the puzzle while the song's going, because you can only move during certain beats, and it's like a really cool concept, but I'm like, I feel like you have to be at least like knowing beats pretty well, like artistically.
Be a DJ.
Something. Because every person I've ever seen that's really good is always
That's
like,
probably a little off there.
A musician.
yeah, they're like, oh, I play lots of music. And they're like, do. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. Like, I can't even play a normal, like any instrument. And then best action adventure was Sekiro. So they took home 2. The rest were those esports people I don't know jack shit about, so. But I thought
I've played
it was,
Overwatch before.
Played a little bit of Fortnite.
yeah, but you know any of the players? But the big announcements out of that whole thing was Ghost of Tsushima, which I think looks really good.
Which one was that one?
That's the one where you're the ninja by Sucker Punch.
Oh, yeah, that
Looks
pretty cool.
really good. And I think I'm more sad that's not till summer, because this game like fell off the map and everyone's like, it got canceled, I got this. And Sony kept going, no, it's still there.
It's just coming way later than you
Yeah,
wanted
and they
to.
just like kept being silent on it. And I thought for sure, I was like, they either canceled it or they're like, they walked in and go, no, you have a great game, PlayStation 5, no 4. Goodbye, you know? That's just what I assumed. And then there's the trailer at PlayStation Now, State of Play, there it is, where they showed some of it, and then the rest was shown on the Game Awards. And it looks good. It looks more hack and slash like Ninja Gaiden, which I like, because I don't want another sneaking game like Sekiro, because I think I'd lose it.
Yeah.
I just want to be a ninja or samurai that runs around and just fuck shit up. That's all I want.
Give me another like God of War.
Yeah, just as a samurai. It's all I want.
Yeah.
Again. It's, another Final Fantasy VII trailer. It's all on Cloud and his story.
Yeah,
I thought it looks good. I'm excited for that game.
it'd be nice.
And
pretty.
then the other big announcement, which shocked me a little bit, was the really ugly Xbox Series X. That's the new Xbox.
Yeah. It's just a
Square trash can.
Dude, it is. It looks like, what is it? What's that Apple thing I was talking about earlier?
Their old Mac Pro.
trash
the
can.
trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know it as the trash can. I forgot what it like full name was.
Yeah.
Because it just looked like a trash can, and that's what that looks like. I'm like, that looks like a trash can that you'd put in an office, and I
Yeah.
think the name's ugly too, like Xbox X Series. Like it's not something that rolls off the tongue like Xbox 360.
But they
Yeah,
kind of
well-
fucked themselves with going Xbox 360,
360.
Xbox One. It's like, well, it doesn't make any sense anyways. So
Xbox One X. It's just confusing. Yeah,
It's
Microsoft hasn't been really on their game with
yeah,
like, naming
and it's
the
like,
shit.
how hard could it be? I mean, I don't know how true this is. This was always a rumor that the reason Xbox couldn't go Xbox 1, 2, and 3 was because they didn't have the rights to the name Xbox 2, Xbox 3. Someone bought the rights and asked for a fuck ton of money, and that's when Xbox was like, fuck it, we'll call it something else. And I was like, or you could have just paid the dude in money or a free Xbox. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. They should have at least had a plan moving forward. Like, if we're gonna go Xbox 360, we know we need to name the next one this.
Yeah,
and then we
like
can.
480 or something. I don't know. Like, maybe another. I can't think of anything that's like 360. What do you think? Like, add another 120 to
4K.
Yeah,
Just add a 4K at
like
the end.
4K.
Xbox
And it's like,
4K.
how hard can it be to just reserve a fuck ton of names that you're interested in? Like, PlayStation does that. Like, I think they reserved. Someone said up to PlayStation 30, so they can just call it PlayStation 30 up to whenever that comes out. And then they reserved a bunch of weird names. Like, they have one called the Platinum PlayStation, and it's never been used. Its name's still out, like, owned by them, and everyone's like, why? And I'm like, because they're probably gonna go, maybe in like PlayStation 10 we'll just call it Platinum.
We'll spray paint one silver and sell it to you for $200 more.
Yeah. Probably call it Platinum Edition. But
But we're gonna come up with our own shade of silver.
we're gonna call it PlayStation Silver.
It's gonna have matte black trim and silver spray paint, and you're gonna pay extra for it.
And
The
you know there's
screws are
people
all
that are
gonna be
going to.
gunmetal.
But it just looks like a really small computer too.
Well,
It's like
yeah,
it looks like
it's basically
about
like
this big.
a little PC. So
A compact gaming PC.
And
yeah.
I think the part that annoys me is where would you want to insert the disc? On the top?
does it have an alt?
It does. It's on the side, almost in the middle. You can see it in the picture. I think I have it right here.
It's
You
just
can
like
see it right there.
a weird slot in the
See, it's
side.
a weird slot on the side.
Yeah, that kind
I
of
think
seems like
that's-
that's more like a desktop type of thing where
Yeah.
you just sit in there and
But
like,
that seems more like a Mac thing. I'm not big on ever putting anything in sideways because Xbox, when they used to tell you to stand your 360, and I mean, this was way back then, that shit would get fucked up. I'd always hear go like you'd be playing to be like "Rah, rah, 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 rah," and you'd be like, oh, that disc is fucked.
Yeah,
like
I think optical drives now are more. They're better first, and then I
Yeah.
think they're more to like transfer data early, and then like once the RAM's loaded up inside the game console, then you're pretty much
yeah.
good to go.
I was really shocked. I thought it was going to be PlayStation that announced something by this time. Because they've had the most leaks. They've had the most
told you,
everything.
they're not going to say anything. To,
Did you see the leaks where it actually is just a silver V? It's like the
That's their, those are called dev kits.
the
And-
dev kits.
Yeah, they look like that because someone had to explain it. The guy that made God of War, that company, said the reason their V is they're
heat
being
sink.
they're being used so much that it has to push out all this fucking heat. So it's just like that's the perfect way to do it, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I guess that's how most dev kits look. They're like some ugly V or circle they always say because that can push out the most heat.
So the dev kit isn't an accurate representation of what the final product's gonna
Not
look
at all.
like.
The PlayStation's dev kit last year was like a giant square with like 50 fans around it. And I remember everyone's like, that's the ugliest PlayStation. I'm like, no, dev kits are normally like, they go, this is what's in the PlayStation. They just shove it in and
It's
then
the
they
same
go,
hardware,
Yeah.
but
and
it's
then they put
different.
like 800 fans because people are stress testing the fuck out of them and you just don't want them to break because that probably cost a fuck ton of money to send another one out.
Yeah.
So, they want to send the 5 out and those 5 last for however long.
So if they're making the Xbox more like a PC, it would make sense for them to like make it upgradable.
See, that's the thing. It's like
I don't
that's
know, like looking at like some of these like
the specs.
You know what it reminds me of is it the Corsair One?
Ooh, you talk about the
That tower, that
yeah,
mini gaming tower?
but that had a lot of problems.
Not
If I
really.
remember correctly.
Not really. They could fit a lot of stuff into that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people loved it by space, but I remember some people said it was a bitch when you wanted to upgrade something.
Oh yeah.
I heard it was
It's
just a
pretty
nightmare.
pretty much unupgradable.
Yeah.
Unless you like doing stuff like the CPU or the graphics card.
That was it because I think It's been a while since I've seen one. I think the graphics cards were somewhere in the back where you could almost like get them easier.
Yeah.
It was somewhere accessible on like a
It
side
was
or
like
back.
one side had water cooling CPU and the other
Yeah.
side had like water cooling GPU, and then it like had little wings.
Yeah, it was a cool concept. I just don't like when I can't fix certain things, because if a part breaks and it's like, oh, it's only $50 part, I can get to it. Because now that you've built your own, it's nice knowing going, oh, if this one part broke,
Right.
it's easy to fix, and my still $1,000 computer can live on.
Yeah, but Xbox has never been for people who want a custom gaming system.
Yeah.
I think
I guess.
the hard part is I don't think any console's going to do that anytime soon, just because they don't want modders fucking with games. I think that'll be a long time, because PC still has a problem with it, with people going, I hooked up these parts to this where it makes me, when I shoot one bullet, it shoots my whole clip in 1 second and I can murder someone. And I've seen that. Like that's a problem with
Send me
crossplay.
that code.
Yeah, it's a special part. Someone sent me a picture and he goes, here's that part. I found it on like Amazon and this is how you do it. And I told him, I was like, okay, go be the dickwad on Call of Duty. you
Yeah,
know?
it's not fun.
Yeah, and that's
At
what I was
that
telling him.
point.
Like, that's why I can't crossplay with PC people too much right now in Call of Duty, because every time I do, there's like an occasional I'll run, and this guy will be like 360 no scoped with a pistol, and I'm just like, yeah, I know what you have on your PC. I know what you're doing.
You're just
cheating
scared.
whore.
You're
Yeah.
scared to crossplay.
I don't mind it. It just gets old when you know they're cheating.
They're not cheating. You just suck.
I just suck. I mean, I'm okay at Call of Duty, but some of them people, man, they're just like, fuck that.
The Mac
pretty-
Pro dropped 3 days ago.
Oh yeah, how's your $1,000 stand?
Okay. There,
$400 wheels.
Is that real?
Yeah, it is real. $400 wheels.
there's a lot of
Nice.
like stuff that doesn't make any sense, like the $400 wheels and $1,000 stand. But I think the stuff that does make sense to me is like they're really the only one pushing for close to OLED displays in their 6K monitor.
Dude, they have like some weird kind of like crystal like finish thing on their monitor.
So instead of having a matte finish on the outside
Yeah.
where it's kind of like not good looking, they have the matte finish in between the actual display pixels and the glass.
Okay.
And it's like etched on the inside of the glass. So it looks like a
It's gonna
shiny
be clear.
finish,
Yeah.
but it's still anti-glare, and the anti-glare is like insanely good.
Keep scratching me.
yeah, but you can only clean it with a special
Special
cloth.
cloth.
Yeah.
A special micro. I don't think that's true.
$800.
I don't know, but like that's what they said.
Yeah,
so.
I
Well-
think it's scare tactics mostly.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out when that YouTube video drops of like some guy.
I cleaned my fucking thing with the washcloth.
I
and
love
now
those videos.
It's like me.
just a smear of just fibers stuck in glass.
I can't wait till someone like does I cleaned it with Windex or some shit
Yeah.
too. I love those videos because it's like, how much money do you make on YouTube? Because currently we make shit.
Yeah.
But it's I do feel like Apple's like trying to make the Ferrari or the Lamborghini of like all
Yeah.
like, computers.
I respect what they're doing because, like, in the monitor space especially, there hasn't been much development in the last couple years. Like, there are 8K monitors, there are 6K monitors, but, like, they're all IPS and they're not locally dimmed and they're all kind of just the same. And I feel like they're the only ones pushing for new development, and there's going to be a lot of copycats, but, like, they did it first and they did it the best.
Yeah, well, they always seem to capitalize on like doing it the best because it's just kind of like they take
Yeah.
the time. They take the time.
And for people who are like, it's so fucking expensive, like, yeah, it is because it's the best.
I think trap. Keep scratching, dear. Keeps asking for attention every time he scratches. But I don't know. I think the monitors have needed good competition for a while.
Yeah.
But I think it's either someone's gonna make one that matches that, and it's gonna be like worlds cheaper.
I think what the biggest issue right now, I think with a lot of people is like there's like a lack of understanding. Like I think what Apple is trying to do with these computers and who they're marketing it to. They're
Right.
not marketing it to like the prosumer like customers out there. They are marketing the stuff towards, high end like professionals.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people are just like looking at the prices and like, I have no use for this.
They're like, this is ridiculous, but it's marketed to people who are doing color critical work in high resolutions. They're shooting car commercials. They're shooting product videos.
So Joe, what do you? Is that what you asked for Christmas
See what's
from Santa? Hopefully Santa does. I mean, the creepy Santa's over there watching you, Joe. So
Unfortunately, I will probably never own one unless it's like 10 years from now and the prices come way down and it's an old system. But
I know it's gonna happen. We're just gonna be like,
or something happens in my career where like
it's just gonna blow up and then like,
yeah. It's out of reach for the foreseeable future.
But yeah,
until you find it on the guy that fucked up cleaning it or something, and you can just like fix it yourself.
It's got a big smear through it, but the actual IPS panel only costs like $100.
yeah. But yeah, like
200 to install it, you're still fine. You're still winning.
I think that's like what a lot of like people are like going like, it's not made for the prosumer out there.
Yeah, the amount of videos like when you Google like the new display, for instance, the amount of videos that are just like, this thing's ridiculously priced, and people complaining far outweighs the people that are like, I love this, but it's not for them.
I think I'm just curious what it's going to do to movies, because I already know that's where it's heading to, is people that are going to start editing movies. So I'm always curious if that's going to change how movies look here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, HDR is coming for sure.
So that's why I'm just like, is this going to be where we're going to see more artistic movies or
more autistic movies?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
well, like, and the other thing though too is like, this also kind of brings that like, that ultra professional stuff kind of a little bit more
to the people
within reach.
It's just more out there.
Netflix,
Still slightly out there, but
it's more knowledge based. Like people have the knowledge now. Like, oh, this is what's possible. Like high end professionals obviously know exactly what they're looking for when they're looking for stuff like a monitor or a computer. But now it's marketed to people who may not have known what they needed to make a high end.
Yeah.
And then they sit in front of it and they're all like, man, this could have saved me so much time decades ago.
I think just technology jumps, makes leaps and bounds, and it's just who's going to snag the thing first. I think right now with everyone more worried about, like, I know Sony's been working on trying to make like 8K a thing.
Yeah. So is Sharp.
Yeah, and Samsung.
They're all rushing to have 8K displays, and then you see people trying to test them.
I did it.
And it's the biggest headache. Like you have to have a system with 2 graphics cards, 4 display port outs, and like it doesn't work.
And it's like they're not even doing it for monitors. Like, well, I don't know about Samsung. I know Sony's been pushing like 8K movies, and they're like, we're gonna send special projectors for people and all this, so we can start running like these crazy movies. And I'm just like, but how many movies do you produce that need to be in 8K? Because all I think about is like, Sony's made some movies where you're just like, oh, that was okay. Like, not every company's pumping out Lord of the Rings or something. Someone's always going to pump out a little crap here and there. And
Well, I think
a little crap.
yeah, a little crap.
I think
The Emoji Movie.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think 8K as of right now is kind of also really, really expensive to produce.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is they're trying to shove that into consoles. Like Xbox is like, we're trying to go up to 4 to 5K, and I'm just like, I don't think you understand the amount of stress that puts on a machine. I'm like, Sony already announced that they were trying to do 8K, and then I heard like the system melted. Like nothing could take that power load.
It's the same thing that happened with the beginning of 4K. Like basically what happens is you don't improve the hardware driving it, but you decrease the quality. So the bit rate is going to be way lower, but it is still going to be 4K.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be in a bit rate that makes the same quality image.
Yeah. And I know that's what PlayStation did with the Pro, is that it would send in information of the game, and then they'd slow down, do all this, like the Pro would just process it differently, so it was like
Scaled up. and it didn't do anything to actually process it in the same bit rate.
That's all it was doing, and it's smart. It allows consumers to get 4K, because I still feel like 4K is one of those, like, when I got my TV, I remember what was that, like 5 years ago? I remember, like, it was still kind of hard to find 4K TV
Right.
that could
Look good on
actually
it.
look good, because I remember I went through everything, and finally that TV was like the one where I was like, okay, you're pretty much the closest I'm getting at this time.
Right, and now everyone's caught up, like even
Yeah.
streaming services, and
Yeah.
And that's kind
it
of
does
what's-
make a difference now.
Yeah, and I think that's what's more annoying now too, to me, just because I dumped a lot of money, is there's a lot of big screen TVs that are now running 4K, 5K,
That's the early adopter tax.
you know? Well, I just wanted, if I was going to buy a big screen, I was going to get 4K. I wasn't going to be like the idiot that's like, I bought a 70-inch TV, but it's just 1080p. Yeah, like, you know, it's like, because I've seen those people that they're like, I have this big TV, and you sit down, you're like, man,
I could see
this
every
is
pixel.
fucking every pixel. Yeah.
It is so blocky.
It's it's just like so, you know,
And then
nowadays
they're
it's
like,
nice.
This is such a great, quality and picture. And you're just like,
I have to stand 50 feet away for this to be tolerable.
Yeah. Like, whose was it with, whose house were we at with Game of Thrones that had like a really big TV one year? Was
Yours?
it Alex?
yours?
No. But when we went to Alex, wasn't his like a big TV, but it wasn't it wasn't
I don't
4K.
know.
So it's like a long time ago. We still
Xander?
worked at, yeah.
Not me, Alex.
Yeah, Sander, probably should have clarified. I don't know. We used to hop around a lot before it just became to your house. And some people,
Their TVs were not meant for Game of Thrones. They're not worthy.
Well, it's just like, they'd be like, I have this giant TV. Do you just sit down? And they'd be like, as soon as Game of Thrones started, you'd be like,
yeah.
fuck. Like, you
That's
and-
the thing is, like, a lot of consumers don't give a fuck. They're like, I just
don't
want a
think
big
they
TV.
notice.
They,
Yeah.
like, and they just tolerate it. We were at a friend's house this week, and he had a dead pixel in the middle of his TV. We're just like, dude, how the
way.
fuck do you tolerate this?
I couldn't
There's a
do that.
big
It's just
white
like-
dot in the middle.
so angry. And
Yeah.
infuriating.
it's,
Like, I understand you spent a lot on the TV, but if you get dead pixels, you got to do something about it. Like, I'd go for a smaller TV that doesn't have a dead pixel over this giant TV.
yeah. Well, my mom
That
had
probably
it.
explains why he's always at his gaming computer, not actually.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's got a PC and an Xbox, so he probably just plays
Just,
PC.
yeah.
more.
Like, what was it? My mom had a big screen. I forgot what it was, but it had a burn mark up top. And I remember I like came over and I kept looking at the TV and I'm like, is it discolored on the top? I was like, maybe. And I like got closer and you could just see the orange top. And I was like, Mom, I should just get a new TV. And she goes, I never noticed it. And I'm like, how do you not notice?
Moms are the worst offenders.
Like the orange bar on the top. And she's like, well, it doesn't bother me. And I was just like, this is
But you understand they
ridiculous.
came up in a time of tube televisions that looked like absolute
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
So I think there's like tolerable. And
And
plus,
VHS,
my mom's just watching your guys' murder shows.
hey,
You don't need to watch that in high def.
they look so good in 4K, dude. They actually look really good. Okay?
I would have to say that they would. I'm just saying that it's always funny. My mom's always watching murder shows. I'm like, well, you know,
You could watch that on
you
a
can
potato.
watch that on a potato. And it's,
It's the same.
yeah. You could watch it on a graphing
You gotta
calculator.
watch those recreations in high def. Uh-oh, he's got a cable around his neck. Trip, you gotta back up.
Trip backwards. The podcast where Trip takes us all out. But,
What's up, buddy?
I don't know. I think, like, with my TV, I have to already almost replace it just because my apartment, there was a leak above my TV, and I was at a friend's graduation party, and I came back, and it leaked all over, killed my sound, so I had to buy a sound bar because I had no sound. And I was trying not to buy a sound bar. I was like, well, no, I'm going to get it when I get a nice TV, you know. Really was working towards getting a nice set, and I had to, like, go to Best Buy. And I'm like, what's your cheapest sound bar so I can watch fucking TV? And
We got this
because for a while I had to hook up,
Emerson.
you know, those portable, like,
Bluetooth speaker.
I had to hook that up
You
to
have a
it
shower speaker powering your
For, like,
70-inch TV.
for like a couple days. Yeah, because I had to, because my TV for some reason got rid of the optical cables, so I know that's how a lot of sound bars do
Yeah.
it. So I had to go do research and like look at my TV, and it only had like
HDMI pass through.
yep. So I had to go like figure out who had that, and luckily most do now. But I was like, thank God, like everyone's got all 5 options nowadays. But back then it was like you had to find specified bars. For that.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful, but yeah, now I'm just sitting here like waiting for the TV just to burn out. Like everyone's like, why? And I'm like,
It's gonna
because it's
explode
going
one
to
of these
explode.
days.
Like I know it. It's
There's water,
just-
like you shake it, it just sloshes.
No, it did the first couple days. I was so pissed, and I like was debating on claiming it on my
It's
apartment
water-cooled.
insurance. Yeah, I was like, should I claim this on the insurance? And McKenna's like, why? And I'm like, because they'll just pay me what I paid for it. And I was like, so I can at least go get a new one. And they were just like, the next day, I remember it was leaking again. I was like, fuck. I was like, you guys are trying to kill my TV. At least I got 5 years out of it. If it broke, I'd be like, well,
It had a good life.
it did. I'll give it its credit. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping the PlayStation will say something here soon. I was hoping that they do
they're not going to say anything till next year.
I was hoping, well, PlayStation pulled a quick one on me. So every 15th of December, they do a thing. Well, it's called State of Play. And it's a giant convention they hold, and it's only Sony stuff. And I thought for sure they were going to host it again. And they even announced it. They're like, there's a State of Play December 15th or whatever. And I was like, cool. And then they're like, oh, we pushed the State of Play up to the 10th before the Game Awards. We have cool stuff to talk about. And I was like, okay, cool, like whatever. And then it ended up just being a YouTube video again. And I was like, fuck. I was really hoping it'd be your conference one again, because those are nicer.
And an announcement.
Yeah, and an announcement. And that's where it seemed like originally when they were doing the 15th, but something spooked them, I think.
Well,
They weren't ready.
I feel like, they announce it, then Microsoft announces the new Xbox, and then it's all like, console wars! Back up again.
They're already fighting ish. Like, it makes me laugh because PlayStation announced what was inside their PlayStation 5, I think is its official name. And Xbox, which I've liked its fucking fake name, Xbox Scarlet, way better than Xbox X Series.
yeah,
Scarlet would have been cooler because that was its name for.
They have the Scorpio? And
Yeah, the Scorpio, which you could get if you bought the first Xbox. It was like lasered onto the inside, which I thought was dumb.
I'm sure like with this one they'll have like a little Scarlet like thing like
It's
model
just,
for it.
it's like, how did they come up with cool tech name, like in development names? But then when they're like, we're releasing it Xbox X Series, you're like, you're retarded.
Well,
Why wasn't that the developed name?
Well, like, I'm pretty sure they bring in a bunch of like I know what they do. They round up a bunch of people to do like
consumer tests.
consumer tests, and they're all like, how would you react if the new Xbox was called Sapphire?
They're like, isn't that a Pokemon game?
Nintendo already got the
8 years
lawsuit.
old?
There's like a guy, hey, I got the lawsuit from Pokemon already.
Xbox Cubed.
Xbox X Cube.
Yeah. I think I was hoping PlayStation, but maybe they have, I think February, they're doing that conference is what they said. So maybe that's when they'll say something, but now it's looking as if they didn't do it in December like they always did, I think something scared them.
Or
Something
they're just
happened.
trying to save their Christmas sales.
Yeah.
It could
Which
be.
makes sense.
I think it's just, I don't know. Xbox already announced it, and I think that's always the key thing. Because I remember.
Because their console sales have been shit for like.
Oh, they were losing. Well, it's because me and Joe talked about this at E3 because we saw that guy, the one that was like
They just shot themselves in the foot.
What was
again
it?
on this like last these
that-
consoles?
the guy that interviewed because we saw him at when I did the Xbox when we were in the Xbox Ed where he was like, just buy a 360 if you don't have online. That's what it's for. It's like this guy being a total dick throughout the whole interview, and he was like some spokesman for Xbox.
No, he was I forgot, like he was the big honcho
What was he that
of
high?
their Xbox division at the time. And like they announced like the Xbox
He
like
was DRM'd and yet
And,
it was
like-
always online.
yeah, and they just kind of like added in all these features that basically restricted like all the gamers like rights, like I wouldn't say rights, but like
what they've come to expect.
Yeah,
Like-
the features and stuff that they liked, and it was just kind of like, oh, no more game sharing, no more this, no
Yeah.
more that, you know what I mean? Walled, giant paywalls now, and all this fucking stupid shit, And everybody was just like really fucking disappointed. And then like he goes on to do like an interview where they sit there and talk about like, oh, Xbox is really popular with our
The military.
military, and they're overseas, and like they may not have access to
Internet.
internet at a continuous basis, and like his response was all like, that's why we have the 360.
And my favorite part was Sony not even missing a beat. As soon as that guy said it, Sony wrote out and said that they were shipping all the PlayStation 4s for free on them to all the people stationed in wherever,
Yeah, and that's a big population, and those people who are playing like PlayStation overseas, they're going to come home and buy a PlayStation.
And that's what they knew. They knew
But
that.
yeah, it was like, within like a couple days, like, Sony put out like photos of like these giant pallets that they were donating to.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can tax write that, but I thought it was still nice that they're like, they'd even charge, they'd even ask the military, nothing. They just sent it. And I think they even did like stacks of games. Like I remember just seeing like pounds of like Call of Duty Ghosts, just every game possible they were sending. And then I think they said that like those PlayStations were registered to be free online while like, I don't know how it fully worked, but
you don't need to be online to.
no, but I think they attached like those ones, like as soon as they could get online, it was free because they didn't want them paying for Plus. Like I remember like PlayStation pimped it out for them a lot. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like they just had really, really bad PR, and like they've been floundering
Sony was always like
since then.
fucking on top of them. My favorite one was when Xbox, as soon as they said at E3 and Sony filmed it and edited and put it like out that second, was Xbox like, oh yeah, we're, you can't trade games anymore, so the games you have, you keep. And then as soon as they said that, you could hear people boo. And then I remember
Well, they had the president of the PlayStation. Like he came out like,
And he handed a game.
They shot this video on a cell phone.
yeah,
And
it
so,
was
like,
not it was potato
how to
quality, man.
How to share games, and like he's just up there with his game and just hands it to his friend.
And then it's
And,
like, thank
yeah.
you. And then like, and it was just constant. Like as soon as Xbox said something, they're like, we're always online. And then like PlayStation again on like a phone, like lowest quality they could get at that second, filmed them going, PlayStation 4, is it always online? And then it shows him unplug the Ethernet and it still shows him playing and he goes, no. And you're just like, it was like, you just laughed and you loved it because Sony was like, you
Memeing
fucked up.
them.
Yeah. And they're like, we're going to take it. And like,
No, they were trolling them hard, but
oh,
yeah, it was just ever since then Microsoft hasn't
and it's like, it doesn't matter that Xbox made the most powerful console at the end. It was too late in the game.
if you don't have people buying it.
Yeah, you don't have people because everyone has a 4. There's a difference between you waiting. Like if PlayStation made the most powerful console, maybe I'd go, well, I'd trade mine in. Like, but I would be upgrading. That's how I would see it. Like even the Switch, they're making that XL version. And I already heard they already like, they might allow you to trade it in and upgrade for like $100 fee or whatever. And that's fine to me. I'm always like, yeah, I'm upgrading. I'm getting something higher tech, whatever. But when you're switching to a whole new console you don't own, it's not worth whatever the price is, $500-600. There's I think there's always a big difference from upgrading to switching a whole console where your friends might not be at.
Your games don't work.
Yeah, you lost. And I think that's where Xbox screwed up, where they're like, we made the most powerful console. Even Sony just laughed. They're like, who cares? They're like, we'll make a PlayStation Pro that can rival you a little bit, but it'll still be cheaper. And they still said the
still have all the
PlayStation Pro.
features that
People,
Come
yeah,
to
that's the
expect.
thing. Like when you build a environment where people are used to certain things just working and being able to do certain things, and then you take it away, it feels like a betrayal.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah, it was like a few months after that they backtracked on just about
everything. They did remove it. I think there was a day one update to get rid of the stuff, and people said if they didn't have internet the day one update it, they were fucked. They couldn't get rid of the features. And yeah, there was a lot of problems, and then it had to ship with a Kinect, which I thought was ridiculous. So it made it an extra $100 more, and that's why PlayStation was almost $100 cheaper, because they're like, we don't have a dumb Kinect, like,
Or it's an optional thing.
yeah. And that's where I just think Xbox screwed up. They're like, Kinect, everyone loves it, shove it in every release console, and it's like, who uses it?
Like I think the biggest problem though that they had with the stupid Kinect was that it was at their stupid conference, right? They're all like, it's online, so the Kinect's on all the time, and so that Kinect is like filming your living room
All the
time.
And the thing was that they showed off the fact that the Kinect could recognize logos on like shirts, different types of like
It did some sketchy
equipment
shit,
and
dude.
shit like that. So then that information could therefore theoretically be given to like advertisers and stuff like that. So then when you're like on your Xbox,
More
bringing
data
it up-
mining.
Yeah.
Best use of Kinect, paranormal activity.
Dude, I love those fucking videos. You've seen them on YouTube a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
I love them. Where like I think my favorite one's like one guy like just got the Xbox. He's like about to start streaming, and he's like turning the Kinect on. And there's like something dead on behind him, and he like freaks out, and then he just left, and the stream's still going. Everyone's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "He dead." It was like straight up dead. I was like, the ghost got him.
Oh man.
Or Just Dance.
I wanted to talk a little bit about this Star Wars story that it's kind of gaining some weird traction. The news covered it. Was it not the news? Well, my news. Philip DeFranco covered it yesterday. That people have been kind of talking trash about. Was it the Last Jedi? Yeah, that's the middle one. Where people are like, "Oh, I think it was John." It's Boyega, right?
Yeah, Boyega.
Boyega. I always feel like I'm gonna say it
Come
wrong.
on, get it right. Get it right.
He was like, "Oh, I felt iffy about it." He's like, "But I never worked with Ryan Johnson." He's like, "I know he's a great director, but he's like, you know, when you work with Abrams to that, he's like, you know, you knew what was going from Abrams' head to what he wanted in the next one." And everyone said that they were happy that J.J. Abrams came back. You know, like Daisy Ridley. Trying to think.
Shouts out Daisy Ridley.
I think the big takeaway was that like the internet trolls kind of like
I think got to them maybe.
No, like there's a lot of like they'd like say shit, and then they would either misquote them or like reinterpret like what they were like, you know, saying.
And write big articles about it.
Yeah.
See, the hard part was
So
like some of them were like that, but the whole interview was with him, and he does say like he liked Ryan Johnson, but he says like John Boyega does go and he goes like, I didn't feel the same as with Abrams. He's like, we were doing something different. And
no,
he's like,
but
that's scary.
like the thing is that, you know, you're going from like, you know, like, hey, I'm working with Alex on like this project, and then, you know, we're going to go make a sequel. Unfortunately, Alex isn't coming to direct it, and it's going to be you, and it's going to be a completely different process, and that's what he was trying to get at.
But most
I
people
don't-
took it as
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson, he could fuck this whole thing up. Like J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams has a track record with, you know, Star Trek and all that bullshit. But this guy was kind of an untested sci-fi director. And I
Yeah.
think that was some of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
But they knew he was a good director.
Yeah, because he's done some decent stuff throughout.
Knives Out.
Knives Out, anybody?
I've not seen it. I've been working overtime.
So it's a pretty fantastic
I
film.
know. I really want to see it, but fuck. I need that overtime for fucking Christmas. Fucking shit's expensive, man.
But yeah, like you know, I see that a lot time and time again, where it's just kind of like, you know, they're trying to, you know, discuss things, and they're not like this happens to Mark Hamill all the fucking time.
Oh, he doesn't even do interviews anymore.
And
'cause of it.
like he's just in there like talking in like general like, you know, things, you know what I mean? And it's just these people just, you know, take these like snippets from like what he's saying and just, you know, like twist his words around and stuff like that. And it got to the point where like he called, you know, these trolls out on the fact like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. You know, I wasn't trying to, you know, I wasn't attacking Ryan Johnson or anything like that. Yeah, okay, we had difference of opinions, but that doesn't, you're not reading into it more than what he was just trying to say, I guess.
Going further, it's because of all those teachers that go, why is the curtain blue in the book? Well, it's blue. It's because they're depressed.
Yeah. Symbolism that doesn't actually mean anything.
I think that's probably a good problem too. Because I remember that always in school. Why is the curtain blue? It can't just be blue. He's depressed. Are you sure he just didn't think blue curtain would fit in the story? I don't think it's a symbol.
Well, no, it's not like that. It's like literally like going like, hey, like I wanted to see, a character go this way, but unfortunately, like they decided to go this way with it, and
Because
then that's all you have to say. But then it's like they come in and go like, oh well, it was it's completely awful. See, because he says type of shit like that, where it's just like I don't think that's what he's getting at. Like it's just like you're working with different people, and you get different results. You know what I mean?
People are stupid sometimes.
Because that's what it talks about in comic book. I like always their articles more. This one says, he says, I didn't agree with the choices, neither did me and Mark Hamill, but we still enjoyed the movie. Like, they put the whole, like, quote of him in there, which I always enjoy. They're not like those other people are like, we took the one sentence. But they're
and then
just
we
like...
took a JPEG of, like, him, like, yawning, but it looks like he's angry.
They just said that he was like, it's different. He says Abrams comes in and knew what to do, and it's like, I think you're kind of right. Like, J.J. Abrams had Star Trek, Super 8.
I've also heard he's kind of a dickhead to work with, so
Yeah.
trade-offs.
So,
For what? Johnson or Abrams is more of the dick?
Abrams.
Abrams?
yeah.
Is
I
he?
heard nothing but, like, nice stuff about, like,
Johnson.
Like, have yet to hear anybody, like...
And we've never met these people, so we don't even know.
I don't even know, but, like, from what I've read, like... Yeah, like...
Well, I heard
Abrams is a dick on set, but he knows what he wants. And
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson's more like collaboration. Like, let's get together.
I think that's... It always reminds me of The Shining, when like they did hundreds of takes of each thing until it was like
Oh, yeah.
perfectly
Yeah,
what they wanted.
Except Kubrick was a madman, so...
Yeah.
He's crazy.
There's
I mean,
some really good documentaries. One is called...
Room...
No, not
talk about the Room 1932.
There's
or
that
whatever.
one, but there's one that's even better that's like specifically about his secretary, basically. It's called The
called The
Filmmaker
Secretary,
or something.
Oh, I heard about that one. I haven't seen it.
It's something like that, and it is just like this guy retelling how Kubrick treated him for like years. And you're like, why the fuck would you put up with this shit?
I think it's you want to put up with it just because
You know the genius.
you know the genius, and two, it's like who alive now can still say they worked with him a lot? I think there's
Right.
only Jack Nicholson. Because even Jack Nicholson to this day talks about it, and they're like, "Oh, what was your favorite movie of the film?" He's like, The Shining. As much as it was like I took naps on the floor, he's like it was hell on earth. He's like, but that movie ended up becoming still to this day a cult classic. I mean, it's held its own on time. Like
It's an all right movie.
I think it's just one of those few movies that like lasts. Like what dates the movie besides like the Cars?
Well, nothing really... Well, like, what dates the movie is just, like...
Attitude towards women.
Need that a little bit too. The typewriter.
Like, I don't know. I'd say, like, it just depends on, like, the styles and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying
like,
one's better.
Yeah, it's like there's that, and what else did he make?
Kubrick?
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Clockwork
of something else.
Orange.
There we go. That's one I was thinking of.
2001.
Birds. No.
Valencia.
Birds 2. No, I'm just kidding. Birds 3. The Reckoning.
But yeah, I don't know. Kubrick, madman director.
But I think there's always someone like that. And I think Abrams is probably a more toned down version of that. But
I don't know. I just don't think, like, from what I've read, also like there's all that shit about like, oh, you know, Abrams gonna retcon all this fucking shit that I disliked in the film. And like earlier this week, like he was in an interview where he was just kind of like, yeah, I didn't, change anything from the last film. So.
Yeah, I heard the only thing, I think like the only thing he said was he took a few things and I think he said he filmed certain things. So I feel like there's going to be like more of Mark Hamill scenes before he did the force projection. I could see something like that. He's like, oh, I took things and I thought it'd be cool to add something. And I was like, oh, he fixed things. I'm like, I think he's just talking about it'd be cool to see how Mark Hamill force projecting. Because I want to know how he did it.
I think there's like a difference between like, elaborating more on something that's been placed on the table than trying to
clean it and alter.
Well, like, try to undo it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, this isn't a fucking like soap opera where it's just kind of like, oh shit, like.
No, it's gonna go on forever.
Dude,
it's exactly like a soap opera.
But I think it's like
20 years from now. Hey guys,
we're back with more Star Wars news.
Han Solo when he was a baby.
But speaking of Star Wars news, did you guys see that Baby Yoda doll?
Yeah, Joe sent us. He's pretty excited.
You gonna get it, Joe?
No.
Does it come with a milk bottle and does it shit in its diaper?
No, he gets the little cup of
like
broth
soup.
he got. Yeah. I forgot what animal it's called.
Soup.
Well, that's what he's drinking in the meme. Goddamn. Watch the fucking show fucking keep up.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 episodes behind though.
I need to watch it.
But I like being behind because these are really short episodes and I'm not a Star Wars fan. Like,
but I'm gonna watch it. You want to binge it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that and I really enjoyed it because I think so. This is my number one rule I follow for Star Wars. This guy has to text me that it's good because Joe's a Star Wars fan and I walk into Star Wars like I still like the prequel. No, yeah, the prequels 1, 2, 3 that were made when I was growing up.
Jar Jar Binks is still my hero.
Like people really hated Jar Jar Binks and like as I grow up I like was like, oh, he was real funny. I watched again because my father-in-law bought all the digital versions and we share a Movies Now account. So I was watching some of them at work, and I was like, CGI's a little dated, yeah. Jar Jar, a little annoying, but I think he's meant for kids. Like, it was things I noticed, like, I enjoyed him because he was relief to me. I didn't understand Star Wars, like, world, really, until now. And, like, I've watched them all, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Star Wars are good movies. I don't freak out. I'm not about the big lore. Like some of the people that go out there and attack, like when Rian Johnson got attacked, I remember I texted Joe, I felt bad. I think it was like at 1 a.m. when I saw Star Wars with my brother. Texted him, I was like, hey, did you see The Last Jedi? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, is it really as bad as people say? I enjoyed it. I said, I didn't like that Luke died though. I kind of wanted him to be more of a badass later down the road. And Joe's like, I don't know what they're bitching about. I make fun of that movie a lot just because it's easy to. But, I mean, it was one of those where I was like, I'd buy The Force Awakens and maybe that one and maybe this new one. They're the only ones I've really thought about buying because I enjoyed them a little more than the others.
I don't know. I think, like, people had some really insane expectations for, like, Luke. I think there's that whole, like, he's going to be Superman, Jesus, like...
I'm not gonna lie, I thought about it too.
Like, Jedi, where he's going to be flying around and shooting lightning from his fingers.
But then Rian Johnson
fucked it all up, man.
He diverted your expectations.
By paying attention to the original trilogy and going like, all right, like, there are actual parameters and shit, like...
Let's kill these people off.
No, that was...
That's Disney's idea.
That was also J.J. Abrams.
But yeah, I don't know. Star Wars, it's not anything where I know it's lore inside and out. Like I'm trying to think of shows. I don't know. Like
I think the thing is that like, I liked discussing like the lore and just having fun with it and just getting into like really ridiculous debates about like just stupid shit like, the Han Solo Greedo thing, who shot first and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Fuck, that's been a controversy for like years. And then like,
But like what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? Like it's fun to discuss and this, things like that, but it's just like all that like kind of like disappeared
With the internet.
Yeah,
Greedo
with
shot
the internet,
first.
where it's just kind of like, where people just kind of went like really.
I don't know. I feel like Star Wars people are the worst though. I don't know what's with them.
It's like they are definitely fans who like love to hate on shit that they love. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Cause man, it's like, I've seen people post something where they're like misspelling, Tatooine, which I'm still like, I fucking couldn't probably spell that off the top of my head.
It's like
And
tattoo. Teen. Get it right.
And it's like, I'll see someone like, tweet out, oh, my favorite level on, Battlefront is Tatooine, and someone misspelled. And they'll be like, oh, you're not a real fan. You misspelled it. Everyone knows how to spell it. And you don't understand this. And they just like harass them to the point where I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good with you. Like whatever crazy shit you guys are on, even Star Trek's like that. Like those two, like they will fucking get into each other about what's better.
No, but like that was the thing. Like I loved the fact that like you can go into like these really deep philosophical discussions and stuff like that. I think Rian Johnson tried to do that in The Last Jedi with like Rey, where like he's sitting there talking about like the Old Republic and
You have no family.
and all that stuff, where the things about like the Jedi and their mistakes and stuff like that. And I guess like people just
The Metachlorians
you
that people are still mad about.
How many
Well, he didn't talk- he
Metachlorians do
didn't talk
you
about-
have?
I don't know jack shit about the Metachlorians. I just know that makes people angry. Apparently, that's like how people get the Force. It's like aliens
that,
inside you or
like,
something.
It's a virus you catch in the tropics.
Yeah.
It's a
So it's
tapeworm.
what happens when pregnant ladies like
When they're on the
get the
sand too
Zika
much.
flu. I don't know. But yeah, and was it like George Lucas's like film like was supposed to kind of like center around more of like the Metachlorians, and so I don't even know how like that would have gone over with.
Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me. I think the only thing I'm mad about Disney for is retconning a lot of things
Well,
because
they didn't really retcon much of anything.
I heard a lot of the books they've tossed out, and one of them
Oh,
like what was like a lot of people's favorites. I know Knights of the Old Republic was original canon, but now it's not. And I really enjoyed that game. I hope that goes back into canon. I thought that was a great game. Like, I like Star Wars games. I don't know why. Like, I'm not big into
They're
the lore, but
fun.
fucking Star Wars games are great. They always have a
Even
good
on,
story.
Like back to the NES.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like okay, so like the big thing with like the legends and those like books and shit that like have become like no longer like
I don't know.
part of the actual like lore and shit or whatever.
Is it because it was muddled, Joe?
Well,
There
no,
was a
no, no.
PlayStation 1 Star Wars game that sucked dick, though. Okay, continue.
There's an
Oh, yeah.
Xbox One called Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Obi-Wan.
and that bitch was fucking impossible to beat.
No, the big thing with that was that a lot of those books and shit like that didn't fall essentially under the umbrella. Like they all they'd have to pay out all sorts of like different royalties and things like that, because a lot of those characters were not developed by George Lucas. They were developed by all these different writers and things like that. And it's like hundreds of writers and shit like that. I think Disney is just was like, yeah, we're not gonna fucking.
We're not fucking doing this. I mean, I just don't know how it works. I just
And
know.
that's the big reason why all that shit got thrown out.
Yeah. I don't know. I just was more mad just because of blow it harder. Harder. I don't know. I
But
think
I'm excited for this week. We'll see where it goes, and
Think-
hopefully J.J. Abrams can stick the landing,
J. Brums.
because he has
it's never finished a trilogy.
no, he hasn't. And so
He goes where the money is.
Because I think he did the first two Star Treks, but he never did the
he
third
didn't,
one.
he didn't do the third.
And I heard that one bombed.
I didn't see it.
It was good. I think the problem with the Star Trek trilogy.
Well, that and the Fast and the Furious guy
a whole
directed it,
Sony
and I
thing.
just remember going, "Why would you have a guy that's completely different, like artistically and everything?"
Well, you've invested so much money. You got to keep those properties moving.
Yeah. Oh, there was one last thing I wanted to bring up. So Fast and the Furious is making a racing game. It was announced at the Game Awards. Man, it looked like it was ran on a fucking potato. It looked fucking bad. I don't know who's getting excited. And then, of course, Vin Diesel's like, our game looks great. I'm like, that looks like shit, man. I'm like, that is shit.
They haven't made a racing game in years.
Yeah.
I think I think the last racing game was like for the second movie, right? No, Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift.
PlayStation
yeah.
2.
And well, my favorite part is like this one goes over all the movies, and I'm like, okay, like there's a lot of shit they can make out of that for that game. But what killed me is they're like, it shows like Vin Diesel come out and he in the trailer, and he's just like, family is all we got, and I'm like, your lips aren't moving. I'm like, how the fuck are you advertising a game that looks broken?
Just give me hologram Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, Paul Walker does show up in it, and the worst part is like, you can tell it was ADR'd from the movie because you can hear like something weird, like you can hear like so it shows him driving, and he's like, get in, Dom. But then like in the background you can hear like shooting and all this, but there's no shooting, and I'm like, they obviously sliced that from a scene and forgot to like cut out the shit that was happening.
It's possible.
Yeah, and I was just like, why not go get his brother? Like, I understand they don't sound a lot alike, but I'm pretty sure, you can train him to sound like his own brother, or at least get a sound alike.
Do you remember PlayStation 2 controller extension cords?
Those are fucking great and sucked. Xbox had one too.
You could run them all the way back to the couch.
I remember when
still
Xbox
have
did that. Like, for something to dog the fuck up. But, I don't know. That was all the topics. I mean, there's a lot to go over.
There's one last topic for us to.
What was that?
Golden Globe nominations.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
We can talk about it next week.
Isn't that when, though, doesn't it happen this week?
Award season in full swing.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Game Awards. I liked all the trailers coming out. They announced a PlayStation 5 game. Ryan Reynolds' new movie just dropped on Netflix.
Ghostbusters trailer. I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh,
You didn't watch it?
It looks so good. That's what I wanted to talk about.
It looks like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it looks good. I think it has potential.
It looks a fucking lot better than the last one.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's actually like they're trying to add a little like comedy and scare to it because
Yeah. And it's different. It's not like the same story again.
yeah, I like how it's Egon's grandkids because he died in real life. So they talk about how he passed away. And I thought that was clever. Like, it was a little sad, but they're like, oh, yeah, he used to build really crazy stuff. And then it shows, like, a lab full of all the shit. And
Yeah.
Paul Rudd talking about how great all these replicas look. And they're like, what do you mean replicas? And he's like, are these not replicas? And
The Ecto 1 is in it.
Yeah.
It's like the Millennium Falcon from the Star Wars trailer.
yeah, just cooler. Because
Like
it goes,
tearing through wheat fields, like, woo!
And if you want to buy a Lego version of it, it only costs like $80 versus $800.
I
It
just,
looks like it's going to be fun.
I think it has a lot of potential just because, one, all the characters are coming back to pass the torch this time. They're not just cameos. I think that's what they should have done when they wanted to make a new one and reboot it. Just, it's not hard to be like, here's...
They should have made a good movie
Yeah.
instead of remaking the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, because I like these movies that are doing the passing of torch. Like, Bad Boys, they're doing that with, it's going to focus around Will Smith in the last one. Because that's why Martin Lawrence is, throughout the trailer, he's like, I'm going to retire. I'm going to do this.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, but it's like Will Smith wants to keep making those movies.
Since 1996.
He's never been in anything since 2000 and like since the last Big Mama's House. But I know he
Oh,
only.
God.
I know the only reason he made that
Those
one
movies are so bad.
because I remember the first one's funny. Second one's like, and the third one it was like, I know he only did it because his wife was divorcing him and leaving him, so he needed money. So when you need
pay
money,
that
man,
out,
you know
man.
you're gonna pick up anything. It's like Nicolas Cage. The only reason he keeps making shit movies is
Because he owns a T-Rex skull.
Yeah.
Still making payments on it.
That and he owes the IRS a fuck ton of money. I heard he makes like only like 20% off of whatever.
Mandy reinstilled my respect for Nick Cage, though.
Yeah, there's a movie. It's called The Cage coming out in a couple of years, and it's about like Nick Cage's rise and like fall and kind of resurgence he's going through right now.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage has been protesting that he needs to be the actor for it. And I was like, you can't play
Yourself.
the 20-year-old self. I'm like, you can play the old you. I'm okay with that.
What are you talking about? They can totally de-age him. Have you not seen The Irishman?
Not yet.
I mean, I just feel like that's a lot of money. That's when it's being filmed again by the people that made Mandy. Was it called Legion? They don't have a lot of money like that.
No. It's owned by who's in Lord of the Rings? The Hobbit, the main Hobbit, Frodo.
Shit.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood and one other dude own that company.
Oh, I don't know much about it.
That
I just
made
know that
Mandy.
like that's the company's name is Legion, and they've only done like Jane, Silent Bob, Mandy, a couple documentaries that were okay because it's a rising studio. But I just feel
It's
like
Elijah Wood.
I feel like
love
that's a lot.
Elijah.
It's a lot of money, man.
Have you not seen North?
He's got a great podcast called The Visitation, and he just goes and talks to like big directors.
That sounds fun.
It was pretty good.
What about me, Elijah Wood? Interview me.
If you're listening. No.
You're one of the three.
I'm going to be a big Hollywood director.
Yes.
all day.
What my dream is to become someone on Elijah Wood's podcast.
That is true.
Right.
Well,
I think we're gonna wrap it.
hopefully next time. if
Del
you're out
Toro
there-
was on it.
Oh, was he? Oh. I'll have to look it up and listen to it.
All right.
But thank you guys so much for listening to us. I guess that wraps another
Exciting week.
exciting week of news.
Game
Next week,
Will be the last week of
Before our holiday
our
break.
year. We're gonna take a break for Christmas, New Year's. We probably won't be back until
I think
First week of January.
first week of January. I'm thinking.
I think next week we'll be discussing our favorite games and shit and movies of the year.
The decade in rewind.
Yep.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah. We'll
So
do something interesting. But thank you, and
Good night.
please like and subscribe.